This conference will now be recorded.
All right, welcome to the 2018-2019 basketball season webinar number 1. Everyone should know me. My name is Hunter Brislin. I am the Team Sports Program Director. All right, first slide here, how to become a Soki coach. Obviously, all of you that are joining us here today know and understand this, but for any new coaches, it's very important that you understand that all coaches are to be Class A certified. And what I mean by this is you must have taken the volunteer orientation course, protected behaviors course, and concussion course all online, as well as turn in a volunteer application to the office here. If you have not done so, or if you have any assistant coaches who have not done so by the beginning of basketball season or by the first game of yours, then you will potentially not be able to coach. So for any questions in regard to this, please just let me know. You can email me or give me a call here, and we can help you out in any way we can. All of these courses you can find online at our Coaches Corner page off of our main website page. In regards to medicals, it's also very important that all coaches keep all of their athletes' medicals on hand with them at all times. Medicals are good for 3 years, and of course, all athletes involved with Special Olympics basketball must have a up-to-date medical on file. For any questions in regards to medical forms, please contact Renee Moss, and her email can be found on the website. Or you may call her here at the office as well. All right, next slide here, Health Partners Program. Now, I just wanted to briefly cover this really quickly, as this is a new program, a new initiative of Soki's Fitness and Healthy Lifestyles program. So we are inviting all Soki athletes in the local area to attend our first ever Health Partners program. Athletes are highly encouraged to attend this 6-week workshop with another athlete, a family member, or even a coach. For coaches who come, you will be able to get certified in this course, which will serve as a recertification for you. We highly encourage participants to come each week, as each week will cover a different health and wellness topic. It's here at the office, and again, it's for 6 weeks straight, as you'll see the dates there, from 6 to 8. We are asking that athletes must be 13 years of age or older to attend. And like I mentioned, coaches who attend all sessions will gain credit towards the recertification status. If you have any questions or would like to join us for this first workshop, please just let me know via email or by phone. All right, into a little bit of basketball. So the Soki basketball season runs from November through March. Local area signups take place in October. First packet of information, all of you guys should have already received this, and if you haven't, then you probably wouldn't be on this webinar, but if for some reason you have a coach who needs this information, please just shoot me an email and I can forward that over to them. But you should have received all dates, important dates, roster due dates, game summary form due dates, regional tournament due dates, and state tournament dates. You should have also received a team directory in which you can use to schedule games. You should have received league info, in which league roster forms were due last Friday, and you should have also received uniform guidelines. Specific timeline and due dates. As I mentioned last Friday, all basketball league rosters and intent to participate forms were due. The second week of January, we will start all of our leagues. So we will have 2 in Louisville and 1 in Georgetown/Lexington area. One Louisville league will be at Berrytown on Tuesdays. The other one will be on Wednesdays. Our Georgetown and Lexington league will be on Thursday evenings. January 18th, our regional and state rosters are due. February 1st, game summary forms are due, in which you have to have 3 games filled out on this form. February 9th is our Region 1 tournament in Bowling Green. February 16th is our Region 2 and Region 3 tournament, one of which is in Northern Kentucky and the other one is in E-Town. Our state basketball tournament is March 8th through the 10th, and that is in Louisville, as it has been the last few years. Look out for invitational tournaments. So these are a great way to get some games in other than leagues prior to regionals. So we've got the Marshall County one coming up December 15th. Rebel Run, I don't have a specific date on just yet, but this happens up in Owington, Northern Kentucky, and we will be sending a flyer out in regards to this and how to sign up shortly. And then the St. Mary's Invitational Tournament, which is being held in Louisville as always, is set for February 2nd. General Soki basketball rules. All levels and divisions will play on regulation 10-foot goal. All team competition is 5-on-5. Each team is required to play all team members in every game played. Each team is required to supply scores from at least 3 games and must advance through its regional tournament or receive an at-large bid in order to qualify for the state tournament, in which 2 of the 3 games need to be against different Special Olympics Kentucky teams and within your specific region. Approximately 50 teams will qualify for the state basketball tournament held in March. Divisions I'm not going to talk too much about as we only have the open. We don't have any junior teams this year as we haven't for the last few years. It is important to understand that all co-ed teams will compete in male divisions. Everyone should understand that our primary divisioning factor is ability. Our secondary divisioning factors after ability include age and gender. All right, the divisioning criteria, which you may find on page 5 of your sport basketball manual. This is just a criteria that is in the manual for new coaches who are starting brand new and from scratch and have no idea where they feel or where they think their team should be placed at the beginning of the season. So we have a criteria here in which can help them kind of eliminate and pick from one of the divisions in which they feel is best for their team at that current time. Rule changes. For 2019, the only rule change that we placed after the end of last year is if an undershirt is worn underneath of a jersey, it must now be the predominant color of the jersey. The old rule was that the undershirt could also be black, white, or beige. Again, this has been changed to now only wear the predominant color of the jersey underneath. So if you have a blue jersey, obviously your undershirt needs to be blue. If you don't, then the athletes just don't need to wear an undershirt. But also, it's important to reference rule changes that took place in 2018, and you'll see those there. One coach only standing rule, which cuts down on chaos during a game, having 3 and 4 coaches standing at one time. So be familiar with that rule. Coaches attire, no gym shorts of any kind will be allowed to be worn by any coaches on the bench. All coaches must either be wearing the proper team color shirt along with either jeans or athletic suit pants or nice golf-style khaki shorts. No hats are allowed and no flip-flops of any kind are to be worn. Game summary forms, which we mentioned a little bit about earlier, all teams must report a minimum of 3 games on this form, and however, 2 out of the 3 games must be with different teams within your specific region. And as I have there, due to this change, I'll extend the deadline of these forms. If you guys just do a good job of informing me prior to the deadline, like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit late on this due to this, I will obviously cut you some slack there, and I completely understand things happen, because I want those to be as accurate and best fitting as possible. Best 2 out of 3 games no more, and this is more so for the higher divisions. There will no longer be any best 2 out of 3 games, 3 brackets created. Instances where there are 2 teams in a bracket, teams will play one and only deciding game. Proper attire. All players must wear numbered uniforms. Numbers must be on both the front and back of the uniform. Only digits 0 through 5 should be used with the highest possible combination number being 55. So 6, 7, 8, and 9 are not to be used at all. All players should wear flat gym, court, or tennis shoes. Encourage your players not to wear black sole shoes as they leave black marks on the court. All members of the team must wear the same color uniform, And as mentioned earlier, if a t-shirt is worn under a basketball jersey, it should be the same color as the body of the jersey. Accessories like headbands, wristbands, leg tights, etc. Must be black, white, or beige, or of course the predominant color of your jersey shorts or your uniform shorts. Those players who wear eyeglasses while playing are required to wear a strap to hold the glasses in place. No jewelry is allowed by an athlete unless for medical reasons. In these cases, athletes should wear tape or a sweatband to cover it. And of course, the uniform needs to fit properly on the athlete. Game rosters. All team members must be listed on the official team roster. For those of you who are participating in leagues, have sent in your league rosters, but for those of you who aren't, rosters must be submitted to Circuit State office by January 18th, and this is your regional and state roster, in which lets me know that you will be competing for regionals and potentially state, depending on how you do at regionals. The minimum allowed per team is 5 players, and the maximum is 15 players. We strongly encourage to have at least 8 players on a roster from a game management standpoint, and your athletes wearing down quickly on you if you have less than 8. All team members must be listed in the scorebook and available to the official scorekeeper and opposing team. Failure to list a roster player in the official scorebook will result in a technical foul. A team must have at least 5 players to start a game. So this is a great time to talk about kind of what happens at leagues or regional and state events in regards to your roster. So obviously you'll have all of your athletes listed in the official scorebook, and those will be taken to the official scorekeeper table. But also you'll be given lineup cards prior to leagues or prior to regionals and prior to state, in which you will print off and bring those with you, and you will have those filled out prior to, and if you don't, we'll have blank copies available at the scorer's table to be filled out, and those will be given to the official scorekeeper. Those are to match up as you give those to the official scorebook, as they will then write those in their book, and those are to match up and coincide with what you're given to the other team, of course. And this will be also helpful to our announcer volunteers, in which we'll have for regionals and state and some leagues as well. The game. All games will consist of 4 6-minute quarters. So some clock rules in further depth. For 3A division, regular clock rules apply, and those are just regular high school rules. For B, 1A, and 2A divisions, the clock will be a running clock except for the last 2 minutes of the second and fourth quarters. Backcourt pressure. Backcourt pressure for 2A and 1A is only allowed in the last 2 minutes of the game. For B division, it is only allowed in the last minute of the game. And regardless, you cannot place backcourt pressure if you are up by 10 points on the opposing team. 5-minute halftime will be for league play. 10-minute halftime will be for regional and state play. And of course, both of these may be altered due to running behind potentially. Each team gets 3 regular 60-second timeouts and 2 30-second timeouts. Unused timeouts will accumulate and can be used at any time. Overtime periods will be 2 minutes in duration for all divisions. Fouls and penalties. Each player will be allowed 5 fouls per game. The 1-and-1 bonus free throw situation will be in effect on the 7th team foul of each half. The double bonus, in which is 2 shots, will be in effect on the 10th foul of each half. Technical fouls will be given for unsportsmanlike conduct and will result in 2 free throws. Flagrant fouls, in which are violent, vulgar, and or abusive, will result in 2 free throws, and an offender shall be ejected from the game. You may find our ejection policy on page 14 of the Soki Basketball Sports Manual. Coaches' responsibilities. Coaches and managers must wear a matching coach's shirt, and of course it must be one of the team's colors. It doesn't have to necessarily have the team name. As we talked a little bit about before, jeans can be worn, no holes, and must fit properly. Athletic suits can be worn, but absolutely no sweatpants of cotton type and no gym shorts. No hats of any kind can be worn on the bench. Shoes, of course, must be worn. No flip-flops and or sandals are allowed. Cell phones should be put away and not used during the game. Coaches shall remain within the designated coach's box during the game and abide by the new one coach standing rule that we talked a little bit about earlier. In all B division games, one coach will be allowed to assist a player to the scores table when substituting. So at that point, you will potentially have two coaches if it's not the head coach standing, two coaches standing at one time. Once that other coach takes the athlete to the scores table, he or she must then come back and sit again back on the bench. Before we get into National Federation of High School, it's also very important that all of our coaches follow and abide by our coaches' conduct. And that can be found on our Coaches Corner page off of our main website page, soki.org. And as we have a coach's conduct, of course, we have an athlete code of conduct and family member code of conduct. And what I would suggest for each of you coaches is to print these out from the website. And if you can't find them, please let me know and I can send them to you directly. But I would print all of these out. And there are places there at the bottom of each sheet in which you can have your athlete and family members, so parents or guardians, sign off on these, saying that they will abide by these items throughout the season. If you have any issue with them throughout the season, you can go back to that sheet and show them and say, hey, listen, this is what you signed off on. You need to abide by it, or else consequences will come. So again, it's just very important that you guys all understand what is expected of you from a conduct standpoint, and then relay that message to all of your athletes and family members. And like I said, print out all of those resources that we are giving you, because like I said, I think that it definitely does help. I would have, if you haven't already had preseason meetings with everyone, I would do that, and that is a great time in which you can pass out all of these resources that we're talking about in regards to codes of conduct. And I would also ask that each of you guys be a funneling system in regards to questions pertaining to divisioning or just, any general questions that may come from a parent or a family member of any sort. And so again, if you are getting a ton of questions or getting bombarded, please ask that they bring all of that through you as a head coach, and then you as a head coach call into us or shoot us an email. And that just cuts down on everything, and it provides a funneling system in which one person is reaching out to us and we're able to, exactly figure out what's the issue and provide a proper response to them rather than being bombarded by all kinds of different phone calls and emails. Our national governing body of rules for Soki basketball is the National Federation of State High School Associations. Of course, coaches are responsible for knowing and understanding the rules of the game, not only the modified Soki rules, but also high school basketball rules. I provided a link here in which you may find a copy of this rule book. They're online, and you should have also, in the first packet of information, received uniform guidelines. So again, if you need any of this, I do have direct access to it, so I can shoot that to you afterwards. Please just let me know. All right, guys, that wraps up our Session 1 2018-2019 basketball season webinar. I really do appreciate you guys joining in for us. If you have any questions, please stick around and I can answer those via chat box. And if not, you have a great rest of your week, and I look forward to having a great 2018-19 basketball season. Thank you very much.